good it is. After he'd won against Mutis, Chela was asked about his quarter-final opponent. At that stage, it could have either been Lodra or Henman. He said, to be honest, I couldn't have picked either of them any better. They suit my game. He said, I prefer Lodra because Henman's so sharp mentally and so experienced. But he said, I love people coming at me.
No surprise there to prefer Lodra. Henman obviously has beaten him a couple of times.
A little bit of slackness there, and a hole to dig himself out of.
Yes, he's just not using the new balls particularly profitably. Both first serves missed. You miss the first serve. In a way, it almost benefits the returner. He gets the benefit of hitting a hard return.
Henman forcing the pass out of Chela, and that time not able to come up with it. Good return.
And Chela almost in the thinking that he has to hit the ball too hard there, trying to force it a little too much. You don't want to lose your rhythm.
The forehand, just letting him down here. So the first chances for Chela on Henman's serve.
Gave himself a bit more court there to play with. Sometimes useful to use the body as a target. Try the big body serve, because it means that you're hitting right in the middle of the block as well. Gives you a great margin, yet you can still go for it.
Good judgment. See again, Chela fancying that he's going to have to make move to get the forehand in, instead of which he had to change direction.
It's a poor shot by Chela. I think half his eyes really were on Henman rather than on the ball. He had to make Henman play the volley.
And there's a disappointing return as well, because he was onto it. And as you saw, it didn't make halfway up the net. So here is set point for Henman after exactly half an hour. Just what the doctor ordered. For those of you, I'm sure, at home, Tim Henman making them purr here on the Chatrier court. Quick rundown on the stats. They're piling up in Henman's favour. Winning 76% of the points behind his first serve, 56 behind the second serve, 11 winners, 8 unforced errors. Only 4 unforced errors for Chela, but only 2 winners. Henman making the play in the first set. Here's the second. Paul Annacone really has seemed to have made a difference to Henman. And I think he has helped Henman emphasize his strengths, even on clay.
Yes, and Annacone himself was a very aggressive player. He used to love coming into the net.
But interestingly, Fru, never got Sampras to be an aggressive player on clay.
Well, I think part of Sampras's problem, he didn't have the all-round ground stroking that Henman has. He didn't have the terrific backhand slice for a start, and didn't have the backhand drive. So sometimes he got a little defensive playing on the backhand side, whereas Henman's got more versatility on that wing. And also, again, of course, at times he was up against some really expert passers. I mean, people even more expert than chela.
But for Sampras fans, it was frustrating seeing him year after year being beaten at the back of the court.
Becker tried the same, didn't he?
Yes, he did. But this fella, just look at him. And chela again is playing catch-up on his serve. 2 break points for Henman.
You'll know there'll be real panic in the chela camp if he ever serves and volleys. Unlikely.
Not quite that time. But he's making chela look a little sluggish.
Right shot, I think, but Taylor just had a little bit more spin on it, and perhaps Henman wasn't as close to the net as he would have liked.
Another super return to what, within a couple of inches of the baseline. And more horrors for chela. A 3rd break point to save. It's simply magnificent, his returning. Chela looking absolutely disgusted. He's been torn apart by this immaculate returning performance from Henman.
Henman's looking like an express train, really, that goes from A to Z without stopping at stations, whereas chela is stopping at every milk can, really looking slow and heavy, and it's really just a reflection of Henman's terrific play. Started so well, giving chela no respite at all, and the frustration setting in. Now, if he can keep on top, he may well be able to sew this match up tonight, which would really be saying something, or doing something.
Still some way to go. But the gap is widening, and chela is looking pretty anxious, as well he might. Well, unusually in the battle of the volleyers, chela coming out best that time, but Henman was always odds against.
Yes, he started with a little bit of an upper hand here. Had Henman on the stretch, Henman really couldn't get the power, could just about flick the ball. But again, emphasizing that chela's no mugger up at the net.
Incidentally, the gap is widening on the Suzanne Longlen court as well. Guillermo Correa has a 2 sets advantage over Carlos Moya, who's just won the tiebreak in the second set, 7 points to 3. Significant advance. That too could be over tonight. Remember, the winner of that meets the winner of this. First things first there. And again, chela threatening. Yeah, he's most pugnacious. And Henman has 3 break points to save now. Remember, he had to save a couple. at the end of the first set. Super hands.
Against count.
That would have been a teaser for the very best.
Never an easy shot to play, partly using Chela's pace, but the ball was played close to the body. Not easy on the forehand particularly.
Chela needs success here. Well, just missed. First double fault of the match, and Chela at last gets a lift.
It's a good effort because he really did seem to be irritated and frustrated, and yet he's given himself a quick shot in the arm, as it were, Chela. Perhaps telling himself, as you have to, quarterfinals of a major, you've got to make the most of it.
Straight away, Henman's on to the serve. Remember, he's broken in the last 2 times the Argentina serve.
0-15.
I think he's seldom returned better than this. So good. Smiles all round.
Yes, genuine appreciation, because I thought Henman had missed a trick. I thought he might actually have stood in mid-court and perhaps volleyed that and given Chela less time, instead of which he used his feet really well, gave himself time and then just let it rip.
Once again, Chela under the cosh on his serve.
Other than the one ace on the second serve, and of course that was partly with Henman running around it. He hasn't really done too much damage with the first. He may be better off getting in a high percentage of first serves, Chela, to prevent Henman chipping and charging.
Again, Henman seems to have all the answers. A stunning cross-court. And he played the rally so well, and again he's got break points.
Well, Chela gives him a look as if to say, is this Tim Henman over there playing this well off the ground and just battering me? I don't think I've seen Henman play this well.
Apparently Galo Blanco said as soon as he was shaking hands with Henman, are you going to charge me for the lesson? Could be the same thing here.
I mean, they expect Henman to make the occasional serve, look, and some big volleys, and sure, some passing shots, but to take on Chela from the back of the court, play with the variety that he's doing, stunning.
Too good, as he has been for the vast majority of the 45 minutes we've been going. And Henman leads once more by a break. Yeah, good it is. After he'd won against Mutis, chela was asked about his quarter-final opponent. At that stage, it could have either been Lodra or Henman. He said, to be honest, I couldn't have picked either of them any better. They suit my game. He said, I prefer Lodra because Henman's so...
And chela almost in the... thinking that he has to hit the ball too hard there, trying to force it a little too much. You don't want to lose your rhythm.
A little bit of slackness there and a hole to dig himself out of.
Yes, he's just not using the new balls particularly profitably. Both first serves missed. You miss the first serve. In a way, it almost benefits the returner.
Sharp mentally, so experienced. He said, I love people coming at me.
No surprise there to prefer Lodra. Henman obviously has beaten him a couple of times. He gets the benefit of hitting a hard return.
Henman forcing the pass out of chela, and that time not able to come up with it. Good return.